Hey there, and welcome to our 7th ClubCast brought to you by Tuscaloosa Campus Life. Now, not to alarm anyone, but this will be our final ClubCast for a few weeks. We're finishing out the spring semester and we'll be coming back at the beginning of June for summer. If you weren't familiar with campus life before all this, ClubCast is a new thing. We started to get connected with you guys during the COVID-19 pandemic to provide some entertaining and maybe even thought-provoking content until we can be back at schools and see people in person again. So look out for us in the fall, and if everything goes as planned, for some of the things we're going to be doing this summer as well. Without further ado, murder hornets. Now, I think all of us are wondering right now, what are murder hornets, and how much toilet paper do I need to buy? At first, I thought Murder Hornets was just another show to stream on Netflix. First we had Tiger King, then Murder Hornets, then after that would be, I don't know, Homicide Hamsters? Seriously though, Murder Hornets, that's real! Gosh, the guy who named these things was not playing around, was he? What are they? Hornets? What do they do? Murder people? Well, there you go, Murder Hornets. Now here at Campus Life HQ, we aren't necessarily jumping on the Murder Hornet hate squad yet. And with the right lawyer, they could definitely get the sentence down to just being manslaughter bees. Dads everywhere rejoicing over the fact that from now on, when their kids get to be the right age, they'll get to sit down and explain the birds and the murder hornets. It's going to sound a lot less exciting when you put it that way. As if killer bees weren't bad enough just existing. And now we've got to have both a pandemic and murder hornets. And we've all heard the old saying though, right? April diseases bring May murder beeses. On the drive into the office today, I swear I saw a man with a long, scraggly beard holding a cardboard sign that said, "Let my people go." I mean, I'm not going to go all end times on you, but if the Black Warrior River turns to blood, maybe we should rethink some things. For real, people, have you seen a picture of these things? They're like geese with stingers. I mean, if you're not scared about murder hornets, then you're crazy. On the other hand, if you're a conspiracy theorist type, you may look around at all these people ignoring government quarantine orders and see the news headlines of giant murder hornets and start thinking. I'm not saying the government did it, but there are dots and there are connections. Or on the other hand, there are probably some of you who are already saying, well, I got stung by something I didn't recognize back in January, so I've probably already had murder hornets. I'm good to go out. That's the monologue, folks. We've got a great show for you today. Make sure you're following our Instagram and our YouTube page so you can keep up with us when we come back for the summer. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, and welcome to our masterclass on returning to social interactions, social reentry education. You probably clicked on this video because after months of social isolation due to the novel coronavirus, society is starting to reopen piece by piece, and you find yourself in social situations you no longer feel prepared for. Today's video will be an introduction to the basic skills required for human interaction. But if you get to the end of this video wanting more, and you will, folks, worry not, we have our platinum level, elite level, and our new commander level social integration packages up on the store now. Lesson 1. One of the most important things to do in social settings is eye contact. Now, we may have been under no contact orders for a couple of months now, but I know some of you have been living with no eye contact orders for most of your lives. So it's time to break some bad habits, folks. Let's jump in. Good. Now, for most people, eye contact can be learned to a point of becoming normal, natural muscle memory. You see someone and bam, your eyes go to their eyes like a supercharged magnet hitting a refrigerator door. Now, it's fantastic to reach a level of self-esteem where eye contact becomes second nature. However, there are guidelines to eye contact you're gonna have to conform to in order to use it to your advantage. Properly executed eye contact involves the eyes, body language, and nonverbal expression. Those are things we go into deeper on our elite video package, 4 payments of $49.99, available in the store now. Sometimes eye contact can take a wrong turn though. I see bros out here all the time with bug-eyed, pink-eyed, and big-eyed stares. Big no-nos, folks. You've got to ensure that when you're ready to engage your social prey with this newfound ocular hypnosis, that you stay out of what we call the creepy zone. Life-winning glances are only mildly different from your 1,000-mile stares, but when you cross in the creepy zone, it's hard to escape. The trick is, after a few seconds of eye contact, you've got to snap away to keep them wanting more. That's right, make eye contact, lean in, oh, nice to meet you, snap away. They don't know you like that yet, they aren't your mother or lover, snap away. Now, when you don't use eye contact, it shows a level of insecurity and fear that you need to save for your diary and therapist's office. Now, to be fair, eye contact is a lot easier when you're tall, confident, and able to physically look down on those lesser than you. But this doesn't mean that you short kings out there can't master this as well. Heck, I remember one time staring into the eyes of an overweight dumpster raccoon with rabies. Scared me to death. He had the upper hand and he knew it, and that's the confidence we're trying to build here. Now just a little preview of our commander level content, now available on the store for only 10 payments of $27.31. Once you've mastered all the basic and intermediate levels of eye contact, you can rise to my level where the rules change a little bit. For instance, I don't do eye contact anymore. Not because I lack confidence, but because I have so much confidence that I know I don't have to show the same kind of sympathy and empathy that I used to. My lack of eye contact is birthed from a place of mutually understood superiority. I choose not to look people in the eye because they are undeserving. You see, after mastering the social arts, you no longer need the crutches you used to, like caring for people, listening to them. But for now, stick to the basics we've gone over today and check out our store.
Once upon a time, and far, far away, Storyland's princesses were in dismay. A sad, evil sickness had swept through their land, and all social contact with others was banned. Mulan's skills were fading from missing the gym. Even Rapunzel thought, yeah, I could use a trim. Sleeping Beauty kept napping without True Love's kiss. Cinderella texted Charming and just got, who dis? Ariel couldn't wait for beaches to unclose. She'd been waiting for longer than Pinocchio's nose. Now we turn the page to Beast and his Belle, whose quarantine story is something to tell. First week or so, quarantining was fun. Belle loved all the readings and hangs with her hun. But it turned out the castle staff is non-essential, so servants stayed home to stop spreading's potential. It was then that they realized that without these jobs, the castle was messy. B&B were slobs. Belle popped off at Beast because he shed so much hair. He kept ordering food, which he never would share. He sang just one birthday song when washing hands. This first year of marriage was not what they planned. He clipped his toenails and left them around for Belle to find in the couch and all over the ground. Belle wasn't quite perfect either, turns out. The Beast learned too quickly, in case there was doubt. Her perm was frizzy, her roots had grown out. With the kingdom stylists at home were spread out. All the ballroom dancing they fell in love to just made Belle kind of sweaty and smelly. You. So they picked separate wings of the castle for each, out of sight, out of grill, out of smell, out of reach. Hot gossip with her mom and advice from a brother reminded Belle they were made for each other. So she put down her pride and heart on her sleeve. She came back to tell Beast all she'd come to believe. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. I love you a lot. Me too, said the Beast. Please forgive. I forgot. Love isn't convenient, and it can be hard, but life's better together in every regard. The sickness may be a rough storm that they weather, but they can get through it if they were together. So this tale ends with hope. Don't forget to remember, love is stronger and lasts longer than our own dumb tempers.
Hello, my name is Mike, and I'm with Campus Life. Thank you again for tuning in for another episode of the ClubCast. Our team has thoroughly enjoyed producing these for you. When I was a small kid, my favorite game to play was hiding. Not really hide and go seek, just I loved to hide from my parents. My mom would take me to the store and I would hide. I'd be watching TV with my dad and he'd leave the room to get a drink. And I would hide. And it was so much fun. It was one of the best things you could do as a 5-year-old. And one day, I got up the courage to venture into our crawl space underneath our house. I had been told multiple times very clearly by my parents, never go into the crawl space. But one day I got the courage to go into the crawl space, into that dark and dirty place, and find my best hiding place ever. And I remember my mom coming outside and calling out my name, and she's calling my name and I'm nowhere to be found, and it was so funny. And then she goes inside and I can hear her above me on the floor going from room to room calling my name and looking for me, and she can't find me. She comes back outside again and I hear her calling my name as she walks away and evidently goes next door to the neighbor's house and comes back with me. And they're talking and she's calling out my name, and this is just so much fun until it wasn't. I remember that first moment that my mom's voice began to crack and she began to cry. I knew I'd taken this way too far. Within just a matter of minutes, it seemed like the whole neighborhood surrounded my house, and they were all looking for me, sending out search parties in every direction with no success. And then my dad came home. Oh crap. And then the police arrived. And it came to my realization that I was never going to leave that crawl space again in my life. I was going to spend the rest of my life in that dark, dirty place. I just couldn't imagine facing my mom, realizing the hurt that I had caused her. I didn't want to face all the neighbors who probably would point at me and go, "Oh, that's that bad kid. Stay away from him. He's a bad one." And my dad, I knew my dad was going to kill me. It was going to be the end of Mike Green. I was scared. I disappointed everybody. I disappointed myself because I had been told that I was never supposed to go where I went. I was trapped. I was stuck. About 9 years later, I found myself stuck again. I began to wrestle with the story of Jesus. You know the one in the Bible, how God sent his son Jesus to earth to die for us, and then God raised him back to life. As a kid, I'd heard that. I'd been in church sometimes, and I'd heard that story. And it's not that I didn't believe it was true. I just didn't have any idea what that story had anything to do with me. But there I was in 8th grade, and something changed. I began to think about that story in a different way. It sort of moved from sort of a head thing to sort of a heart thing, because I had begun to realize that I wasn't the good kid that everybody thought I was. I wasn't the good kid that I even thought I was. I'd been making a series of mistakes, and now I knew everybody was disappointed in me, and I was disappointed in me as well. And I knew somehow in the midst of that Jesus story that he had the answer for me. There was something about that story and his love and forgiveness that I knew that's what I needed, but I was too scared. I was scared of facing what he thought of me, what he would say to me, what he would do to me. I was afraid that he wanted really nothing to do with me. And so I was too scared to do anything. I felt trapped. I felt stuck all over again. So there I was at 5 years old. I'd been into this house for what seemed like weeks. I know it was only a couple of hours, and I just couldn't see any way out when I heard all the people around the house talking about, has anybody gone underneath the house into the crawl space to see if he's hiding underneath there? And somebody actually had already come in and looked around for me, but with no success. But from what I can pick up from the conversation, my dad was going to come into the crawl space. He was in his dress work clothes, and he got down in his belly in the dirt, and I heard the door creak open, and he crawled into the space. And underneath the house is like a maze. It's dark, and to find me was evidently very difficult because they failed the first time. But he's in the maze looking for me, and I'm hiding, but I began to do a strange thing. I noticed that I began to let out this very small, almost inaudible whimper. Why? When I was hiding, would I make a noise? Well, the answer is because I wanted to be found. I needed someone who would rescue me. There was no way I was going to crawl out from underneath that house myself. I needed someone to come find me. And so I'm making that noise. My dad hears it. He begins to make his way directly towards me. And just before he reaches me, I close my eyes because I didn't know what was about to happen. And with my eyes closed, I remember him reaching out and grabbing my arm. He doesn't squeeze it. He doesn't yank it. He doesn't yell at me. And because of that, I open my eyes and I see my dad smiling. And I know that everything is going to be okay. The Bible says that if we confess with our mouth that Jesus is God, meaning if you confess something, you have to know and believe that it's true. And the rest of it says, and if we believe in our heart, that God raised Jesus from the dead, that Jesus story, if we believe in our heart that that Jesus story is real, and that it's not just that it's true, but we need it, what it says is that God will come rescue us. Do you need God to come rescue you? It's what I needed underneath that house that day. It's also what I needed when I was 14. Maybe it's what you need. What I learned underneath that house is that when somebody's looking for you, you don't have to necessarily scream. All you have to do is let out a very small, almost inaudible whisper. I'm going to ask you to do two things today. If you'd like Jesus to rescue you, I'm going to ask you to do this. One, would you let out just a small whisper that Jesus can hear? I don't know, you could say a lot of different things, but maybe one thing you might do is just say, here I am. Here I am. And what I know about Jesus is that as soon as he hears that, he will come running. The second thing I'd like to ask you to do is, you've seen these crazy campus life leaders doing all this fun stuff. We would love to get to know you and pray for you and help you as you begin this adventure. So would you go to our Instagram account, our T-Town Campus Life, and direct message us. You can say anything you want, but maybe what you just want to say is, here I am. And we'll know what that means. Thank you guys. We appreciate you tuning in. We look forward to talking to you real soon.